player-led team, people that's been around here for the last 10 years with him and know exactly what he wants and what he demands. And all the new guys like myself, we get caught up pretty quickly. And it's nice to be around that type of a group. It's nice to be around that type of a organization just in general on a bit to get those things done. So now he's doing whatever he needs to get done to get ready, which we know he will, and he's very capable of doing that.
Worked with Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw together before. Watch them. What are you seeing from them so far? Just being back together.
It's a lot of fun being on their side. Going against those guys, is always something that you're concerned with. How fast they play, how violent they play, things they're able to do from a communication standpoint and a physical standpoint. That's always awesome. But watching those two communicate with each other in the huddle and the energy that they bring every single day to not only just the field, but the meeting room, the building, the presence, the ideas, the thought process. It's really fun to go into that linebacker room and be a fly on the wall. You sit in the back every once in a while, you get a question. And those two are going to give you high level questions, not the what are we supposed to do? It's more of the what is this for? And that is really intriguing when you're talking about a coach and being able to communicate that way with the guys.
Drill down more in the secondary. Are you getting intel or your safety battle is concerned? No,
let's be honest. It's secondary practice. They've all looked, the part. They've all done some really good things. Obviously, there's always going to be corrections. That's what you need coaches for, right? And that's what we're out there for. And that's the really good part. But it is a lot of fun to watch guys compete at a very high level. Talking about Tig, you're talking about Zeke, talking about Malik, you're talking about some of the young guys that brought in, Ashton just being brought in. There's some young guys here that's done some really good things and moving people in the back end, see Nick back there, Surround back there a little bit, and watching guys be able to compete at a very high level is a lot of fun.
How excited are you to unleash Nick Bosa this season?
Again, another guy you have to be on this team. To watch that guy and what he's able to do, the amount of power he plays with. The presence, he's one of the calmest players I've been around in my life, and he brings this certain ease and a certain ability to move, these guys play fast, they run fast, they do really good things. Wallow, I can name all those guys. They all stood out in some form or fashion. Larry, all of them. I mean, really, everybody to get an opportunity. Everybody gets an opportunity to go out there and play. They play at a very high level and they communicate at a very high level. You got some real adults in that room. That is I was just telling John and Cal the other day, you guys are spoiled having these type of linebackers in the room and having the ability to be able to do that with these guys and communicate at that high level.
Raheem, what does Jack Jones bring to your DB room?
Playmaking. Jack Jones has been known as a playmaker. He's also been known to give up some, right? So it's you have the ability to get him out there and teach him some fundamentally sound things and be able to have him take advantage of his tools and his assets to have ball skills and catch the ball and score. And he certainly brings that. He's done that throughout his career. He's been marvelous with that, and he's done a nice job since he's been here. So I really look forward to watching him continue to grow.
Say that, do you how much of a priority is it for you guys to figure out when to take those shots, when to take the risk?
That's the biggest key, right? When you play corner in this league, there's always going to be play ops, so to speak. Then you got to learn your play ops. You got to take advantage of them. and he's one of those guys that can take advantage of him. And if you give him more coaching, you give him more because you know when it's time not to take those ops, he won't. But if you're out there guessing all the time, you take some ops that are necessary. When you take the ops and you get those opportunities, that's how you make plays. You know, making plays is just technique and opportunity meeting, and he's one of the better ones at it when he's in those meeting rooms listening to it.
Bringing some new things to this defense. I mean, Trent was pretty candid. He's faced a certain kind of defense all these years in camp, and now it looks a little bit different. How have the returners on defense, the early impressions of how they've adapted and taken that, some of the new stuff that you're implementing?
Yeah, it really sounds like a question for those guys, but like I really think these guys, they love football. That's the common theme around here. The common thing with the guys that we have on our roster, and just they're obsessed, right? So like they crave more information, they crave energy, they crave the ability to go out there and learn every single day. And it's not like this is not like my defense, right? This is like the defense we're building that's built for the Niners and what we've already had in place. What we've done, or what they've done, what I want to be a part of, and move forward from there.
Renardo Green in this camp?
He's shown it. He's shown the ability to go out there and play, at an elite level from bump. He's shown the ability to be able to take it from the classroom to the field. He made a big time play today. He's shown up in a big way. He showed up at OTA days. He's exciting. He's got great length. He's got great ball skills. He's got all the ability in the world. And now it's as you say, time to go out there and do it. So like, let him continue to do and continue to grow and continue to play. And I think get the best out of players.
What are the benefits of a 5-man front as opposed to the 4-man front? If you maybe a bit more questions.
It's hard to say benefits, right? But you're just talking about different ways to dictate what you want on offense, right? It's like you get certain runs in a 4-down front, you get that you're going to get, you got to fit up. You get certain runs in a 5-down front that you got to run, you got to fit up, right? You open up more things in the passing game because it's a 5-man front. You create some versatility with some different people. So it's just like the benefits and what are the advantages and what you want to be able to do with those things just based on who you're playing and what you're playing. And you give yourself some real options and some different things of that nature. So to be able to mix those things in like most of the league's doing right now is a lot of fun. Did it a bunch last year, and Robert Saleh did it last year, started to mess around with it a little bit, and we'll mess around with it some, and we'll do some different things. But we got what we got, and you got to take advantage of the players you have and do those things the right way. All right, guys.
season, kind of what are the ideals or the goals that you kind of put in the front of your mind as training camp starts?
Really just winning a Super Bowl. I think that's the main focus with, the whole team. We've been playing with each other for so long. I feel like we just need to get to a Super Bowl and, win it all. That's what we. But it also starts with the work, starting from OTAs.
From Renardo this season? I mean, just so far through the offseason.
More confident in his craft. Just being able to, come in year 3 and, actually had a confidence to backpedal against a Hall of Fame receiver, and just being poised. I think he's take a big step in that direction.
What do you think of the veteran?
Training camp, and yesterday Trent and Fred kind of weighed in on like the differences on the defense under Raheem Morris, being there are adjustments being made. What do you think about him so far?
I love Raheem. He allowed us to play fast. He broke the defense down and made it as simple as possible, to where we able to just, read and react and just play, and not just, thinking about too much.
Got a couple new veterans in the room, Hobbs and Jones. What are those guys like?
They're a big help, to the DB room. I feel like they added a lot of, knowledge and confidence, with just taking the ball away.
Like to line up against Mike Evans, and is this you've been in the league long enough, so what's it like to go up against a guy like that?
It's an honor, just being able to take the same field as him, to get ready for season, being able to compete. I love competing, so all the tricks that he got and everything, I'm open to it, and I'm just trying to get better and just keep working, and just iron sharpen iron.
To that, have you talked to him? Compared notes or just kind of seeing him?
Yeah. We actually talk a lot of time. We actually talk a lot, more than I actually thought, because he a receiver, but he's a great guy. We was talking about when they came down here, and I think it was 2023, and he was out route, against him, and he was like, "How did you know?" Like, and I was just telling him like I was studying him, and it was the first play of the game. I didn't think he was gonna go deep, because of his age, but that's my guy. We've been working. He's been teaching me a lot, and it's just been iron sharpening iron.
Winning the Super Bowl, a lot of people talk about the Seahawks and the Rams, the teams in the division, the Super Bowl. Do you guys embrace kind of maybe not being the favorites per se? I know that was a little bit last year too, but is that helpful?
I mean, ever since I've been here, I don't think we ever been a favorite. We always have to work for what's in front of us. We never made no excuses. We just kept chopping wood.
What's having Bosa back for you guys in the secondary?
It's a big help. He's one of the best players in the NFL. So, to have him back on the defense, creating pressure and just being him, it's a big help to us.
I know Richard Sherman was important in kind of influencing your confidence. Did you help Renardo Green with that at all?
Oh yeah. I was talking to him all this off season. We actually got tighter this off season. Just with him actually wanting to open up and communicate, and just checking on him the whole off season, make sure he was working. Because we got bigger stuff at stakes. We trying to do, and that's just trying to be great.
Kind of a more quiet guy.
Yeah. He kind of reminds me of myself, because I was kind of quiet, coming in, not trying to say too much, just really trying to soak everything in and just be a sponge.
What's it like having Greenlaw back in the room, and what does he bring to your guys' mix?
He's the bully. We got our bully back. I was mad when he left, because I know the intensity he play with. He gonna go 110% every game, every practice, and I know that he gonna give it his all.
Every team kind of deals with adversity throughout the year. This is kind of different with Coach. How can that be a rallying cry as you begin a new season?
I mean, it's nothing really to us, because we didn't dealt with like injuries and stuff, so we didn't dealt with like losing players and stuff. So I mean, I feel like it's just just like kind of another injury, but we hoping we get him back soon, very soon.
Having
Kyle on the field, just watching and taking notes?
You still gotta, we still gotta show up and perform. Kind of you want to give it your best out there. Because your head coach is watching, and you making plays. It'll make him very happy, and just kind of get him hurry up and wanting to come back to us.
New defensive coordinator, and you don't have a head coach right now. What's been the biggest wrinkle early in camp for you?
I really wouldn't say a wrinkle. I feel like we hit the ground running, and everybody was moving fast. The defense looked better, the offense looked way better, and I feel like we all one accord right now.
I'm just curious, what do you think prompted Renardo to open up? Was it just time and familiarity? Or?
Yeah, I think it was kind of just getting familiar with his peers, and just being able to trust the guys around.
Do a couple more.
What do you think from Ephesians? I know you guys have been close before.
Him building the confidence, him being able to stay square, backpedal, and just being able to really come out of his breaks.
How has he been in the meeting rooms?
He's been good. He asks questions. Like a guy like myself, when I first got here, I wasn't asking questions. I was more like I just go on the field and try to do it right, or try to watch the guy in front of me. But he asks questions in the meeting room. He's very smart. I don't think a lot of people know that about him. He's very smart. He really don't open up that much, but when he don't know something, he will ask.
It seems just through a couple practices, you and Renardo are flip-flopping sides in between some plays. Am I seeing that right? Is that something just to kind of work on your guys' versatility?
Yeah, we just kind of do what side of the field you're going in the game. They could be hurry up and going fast. The Rams tend to do that a lot, so we just kind of be going back and forth.
Is that something you guys do on your own, or are you coached to do that?
We were coached to do it.
Away, but just your general excitement about starting the season in Australia, or what your overall thoughts of that and that long flight?
I'm actually ready for it. I love football, so anything goes. Like whether we got to go 20 hours away, 30 hours away, I'm ready.
What you see from
Last one here.
in these first couple games of practice, just kind of going up against him.
I'm sorry.
Just Mike Evans, and you seeing what he has to offer.
He still got juice. I know people talk about his age and how he moves. He still moves really well, and I think he's still the same Mike Evans.
All right, thanks, Demo.
Appreciate you.
coach has been limited. What kind of interactions have you had with him, and have you still talked football with him these past few days?
No, I shot him a text after I heard the news and stuff, and we had texted back and forth on some things. I haven't, talked to him about football or anything. Just saw him out in the field today, actually, first time in person, and so just hugged him, told him I loved him, and hope he's doing good, and everything like that. So obviously, we just want him to heal up, and glad he's okay, and that's first and foremost. So I'm sure we'll get, he'll get right, and we'll get into football and everything. But yeah, we just want him to be good.
Different or weird have the first couple of days been without having him in your ear during practice or in meetings and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, he's our guy. He's the one leading all the team meetings and stuff, and going over just situational football, what practice is going to look like. Like, he's our leader. So it has been weird in terms of not having that. But I will say, I think the assistant coaches have done a good job of stepping up, and Coach Furster and Raheem and Clay Kubiak, stepping up and filling those shoes when we all need it as players, for a coach to lead us. And, we're able to run practices and go through installs and everything. So that side of it is really good and positive. But obviously, he's our head coach, and we all want him here.
Clay has been relaying the calls to you via walkie-talkie, through a couple practices, right? And that's usually Kyle's role during camp for the most part, right?
Yeah. Kyle usually is on the walkie-talkie calling plays, just like it would be in the game. So, hearing Clay and his voice and stuff throughout it is different. But Clay's done such a good job. He called a couple preseason games, and he's installed so many. All of our installs the last couple of years in front of the offense. So, Clay's the man. So he does a great job with that.
Because you've been in this offense now for going on 5 years, do you have such control and command over it where it's very second nature anyhow?
The whole how a practice rolls and install and everything, there's just a process, and I'm still, obviously learning and everything, but, when I'm out in the field, I just understand, how it goes and what needs to be done, and getting guys in and out of the huddle and sort of pushing the tempo. I feel like that's my job. They do a great job of calling the plays and stuff, but I think Clay's done a great job with that too. When Kyle's out, Clay goes in and he reminds me of those things too, and what we're trying to get out of practice and stuff. So, but yeah, I try to be me. Clay does a great job being him too.
Brock, how's it been, your connection with Mike Evans, and is there any sort of pinch me moment thrown out there with him?
Yeah, it's been great. We've slowly gotten on the same page over time from OTAs. Summer we got together a little bit, and then obviously the first couple of days here, it's been really, really fun. Just what he brings to the table in terms of his size and speed, and his catching radius, how smart he is with just football in general. So for me, it's been really fun. I'm still getting used to him and everything, but being out there and just giving him a chance and watching him come down with it has been awesome. And I grew up watching him and stuff, and to now be able to throw to him and be on the same team and compete together, for sure, I pinch myself and I'm like, this is surreal for me. So gonna try to give the guy all I got and go out there and win games together.
How much did the work in Nashville with Dejon Stribling and Jordan Watkins, Mac, and George help you out in getting ready for this offseason?
Yeah, I thought it was huge. We got a couple of days of work in. Some guys came in, and just emphasizing the simple things, the routes. Obviously, getting on the same page when we're trying to throw and getting the timing right and all that. But those young guys, obviously, are going to have a huge role in this offense, especially at receiver. So, really excited for them to have an opportunity to go out and compete. But for Stribling, Watkins, the last couple of days, they've both been making plays out here early, and so for Mac and I, we're both excited that we got guys that are coming in ready to go right off the jump. We just got to keep building on it, but those are guys that we're excited about, and we need them this year. So
Stribling's been known for his football IQ. Have you recognized that as well?
100%. Just the way he runs routes, the detail of it. Obviously, we're coaching him up on some stuff and whatnot, little things, but more than anything, he's come in, he understands the route depths and the details and the alignments in our offense. All those things are really tough for rookies, and it's not easy. It's a whole nother language, but he's done a good job of studying, being on top of it, and not even that, just catching the ball and then finishing, and it's all right, this dude has proven to all of us that he's reliable and we can trust him. But it is day 2 of camp. We got to continue to find out, but I got a lot of trust in him right now.
How excited are you to have this much speed at receiver? It seems like you guys have a lot more speed than you've had in the past.
Yeah, it feels good. I feel like we've been able to bring in a personnel where guys are, one, healthy, but then two, bringing in other guys that, you know, can help us open it up. The third level throws down the field are definitely a thing that we all like dove into and looked at this offseason, and how we can get those kind of plays and those explosives. But in order to get those, you know, you need the right guys to do it. And so I think we have shown that we got some speed now. And obviously we got to keep building on it, and we'll find out as we go. But from what I've seen the first 2 days and being able to, you know, air it out and get guys out in those positions, man, like for me, I'm like, let's go. It brings a whole nother, you know, dynamic to our offense.
That defense was going almost right towards Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, I saw it after. I was like, damn, I almost hit Kyle. But no, I was mad we couldn't complete the throw. But yeah, heads up, coach.
When the text came in from Kyle, just what was your instant fear and reaction, and then kind of as a leader and captain of this team, how do you weigh who you share that information with?
Yeah, I got the text from Mandy Shanahan first, and yeah, when I first read it, I was like, I don't know, like, is this real kind of thing? And then sort of sunk in. I called George and I was like, hey, is this? And he goes, yeah, it sounds about right. So, you know, it hurt really bad just reading that text. I'm like, first off, like, is he okay? Like, what's next? Like, how is he and all that? And then, so I reached out to him, and then he hit me back up. So once he texted me back and stuff, I was like, all right, he's good. And, you know, it's a scary moment because all you care about is life at that moment. Like, is he alive? Is he good? And all that. But after, you know, hearing Mandy and then what Kyle had said, I was like, all right, you know, Kyle's good. This is going to be a little process, and maybe, I don't know what the road to recovery looks like, but he's going to be good. That's all I cared about in that moment. So I know he's good, just seeing him, talking to him and stuff, and what he said to guys. I have a lot of faith that he'll bounce back quick. But from that moment too, it's like, yeah, just sharing with like some of the leaders of the team, and then if they're talking to guys, just like giving guys a heads up, you know, like, hey, coach went through this and this is how he's doing and stuff. He hit me back, so he's good. He's talking. So I shared, you know, with some guys, and then when we first got back in the locker room and stuff, just sharing with guys around the locker room area, just giving them a heads up that, you know, he's good and all that kind of thing. So.
Saying how, you know, the team runs on autopilot. It's a well-oiled machine. Everybody's kind of picking up their own role, but doing what they need to do. The players, a player-led team. If you guys do get down to week one and have to go out there without Shanahan because they don't want to rush him back, given the concussion, how seamless do you think that would be?
Yeah, obviously, hopefully it's not going to be like that. But, I mean, if it were, like, I know that we have the right guys in the building. Like I said before, with the assistant coaches, with the head coaching experience, with Raheem and, you know, Chris Furster and Clay Kubiak. Like, we got guys that can definitely lead this team in moments, especially when we have guys player-wise that are, you know, we've been around the block and understand how this goes and what all goes into winning games in the NFL. Like, we have that. We have older guys that, you know, can help the young guys, and we can go through installs, we can go through practice, we can go through game prep and understand what it takes. And so that's the good thing. Obviously, we want our guy with us and Kyle. And the goal is, you know, when he's ready, he's going to come back in. It's going to be smooth. We're just going to keep going. So obviously, you don't want the worst to happen, but we'll be ready for it. But more than anything, we just want Kyle to be good and healthy and ready to come back when he's ready.
I was dealing with linebackers and DBs today. They were pretty active on you guys.
Yeah, they did a good job. I feel like Raheem's done a good job of coaching up our DBs in terms of being sticky and that match coverage. It's real. So they've done a really good job with it. I think we have the right personnel on the defense to play that kind of defense. And then having Dre and Fred underneath makes it harder too. It's like those windows are tight. And so when the defense does a good job of having tight coverage and tipping the ball up in the air, like it's real. And so they've done a good job. Day 2 of camp. We're all just going to continue to install more stuff, and hopefully the competition level just keeps getting higher and higher.
Emo said that he could travel 20, 30 hours. He just wants to play football. Do you share that sentiment about traveling around the world and playing football?
100%. I love that. Yeah, football is football. I think it's the prep is definitely going to be a little bit different going across the world, but more than anything, man, when it comes down to it, it's like we're playing in the NFL. It's 4 quarters of NFL football. And we've all dreamed of this as kids, like to be able to do stuff like this. So, yeah, man, it's football, it's fun, and you gotta do it. You gotta do what you gotta do.
In practice, getting some new looks from this Raheem Morris defense.
Can you say it again? Sorry.
What's it been like in practice so far, getting some new looks from this Raheem Morris defense? He's adding, some of his own stuff, and Trent was talking about it yesterday. Just, I guess, keeping things fresh after so many years, going up against kind of the same thing.
Yeah, I was talking to Fred about that. Like, it is different. In camp, it's usually the 4-down traditional stud defensive lineman with 3 linebackers and a strong quarter shell defense. And now it's like, all right, we got 5 down. He gives us all these different kind of looks, and the shell's always changing and stuff. So Raheem's done a good job with, I think, trying to, disguise things against the quarterback, but also the techniques that the DBs are playing with now too. That's a whole nother thing. So I like it. It feels, for me, it's fun because going into the season, I feel like this is the kind of stuff that we're starting to see more in the NFL. And so for us on offense, it gives us good practice and good reps and stuff. And you got to win in your one-on-one matchups and things like that. So I think overall across the board, it's been good work on both sides of the ball.
Your lockers that you were talking about, does dribbling size kind of stand out in those scenarios? A crowded defensive backfield and developing that trust.
Yeah, I think he's done a good job with obviously like the footwork and getting off the line and stuff, but the other half of football is up top, using your hands at receiver and still trying to create separation, obviously legally, but like that's a part of the thing, using your strength against the DB and stuff. So having dribbling, with his speed, but also his strength, like that's something that you need a receiver, and he's shown that first couple days here. So I'm excited to keep building with him, and I know he's going to continue to do it over and over again.
Your locker's next to Greenlaw, and he was gone. Obviously, you guys are friends. He's now back in the room. What does his presence mean to the room?
Oh, it's huge. Obviously, when he came back, it was like, all right, he's like one of our brothers that came back, and it's almost like let's pick up where we left off, after that season when he left. But just his presence, the dog that he has when he steps on the field, it's like everyone feeds off that kind of energy, and it's being on offense, I'll look across the ball and be like, oh shoot, like you got Dre Greenlaw next to Fred again, and they're flying around and they're filling the gaps, like you could feel them. And so just having him in our locker room and his presence, man, is a real thing. And he looks out for all the young guys too. Like he's a real brother, but the minute that dude steps on the field, man, it's like you got to be ready. And we all just want to go to war with him. So I think it was a huge addition to get him back.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, guys.